All right, congratulations, you made it this far in the video. So this is tier 3 and tier 4, where we go into the design process of the bin itself, all right? So today we're going to be using Fusion 360. Then after modeling it in Fusion 360, we render it in Blender, because Blender has more, I'd say, rendering power as compared to Fusion 360. And it gives you realistic images, something that looks pleasing, appealing to the eye. All right. So anyways, before I forget, stick with me. At the end of the video, I'm going to review something very exciting for you guys, something you'd want to wait for. So anyways, without much ado, let's get into the video and start with the design process. So today, basically, I'm going to take you guys through the design process using a board at first. All right, forget about these things. We will peel them off and start all over. Anyways, I'm going to take you through the design process with a board. Then after that, I'll take you through the detailed design with the software. I need you guys to understand it from the board before we go to the software. All right, so stick with me as we go through this video, and I hope you enjoy. Right? So it took me loads and loads of time to get this right. It's not right, but this is how I had to. This is how I had to cope. Right? We have no choice than to record the video like this. Don't worry, as time goes on, we'll get it better. All right. So for this, we are basically going to start from the base, of the bin. All right. I'm going to start from the base. I didn't have good measuring instruments, so we are just going to use this for the measurements. Okay, so for the base, we had, due to my measurements, we had the, should I say, the width, how long it is, like from, let's take this board for instance, from here to here, we had it to be 20.6, all right, and we had these sides to be 10.65. But in the design process, normally what we do is we start modeling from the base and then we extrude. But for this particular design, because it's tapered at an angle, extrusion won't really help. So what we are going to do now is that we are going to draw the base part of it. Okay, so let's say the base part of it is probably a rectangular object or something, so something like this. All right, let's say that's the base part. Let's say this is the base part. All right, and then we had the top as well. The top was 28.7. so when you check, the top part is a little bit or slightly bigger than the base part, and then for this side too, it's also slightly bigger. So what we do is we select this plane, we offset it upwards. That means we take it from the base here, then we take it upwards. All right, so we take it upwards and then it becomes bigger. Okay, bigger than the previous one. All right, then we use the loft modifier. So we use the loft, and then the loft just joins these two planes together. Then we are able to get the base part of it, and that's where we go and we get our filleting part of it. Then we make these sides rounder, because from the bin itself, from the actual product, is actually a rounded figure and not a square-like figure. All right, so I'll take you guys through all those processes in the application itself. Okay, so this is what we are going to end up with at the end of the day. Then we go to the top parts and the height and all those things. Sorry, I forgot to add, but then the height is also 30.5 centimeters. We're going to convert all these to millimeters, because that's what would be helpful. That's what Fusion 360 uses. It measures them in millimeters instead of centimeters. Anyways, this looks very tedious. Let me just jump into the video and then we get to know how to go from there. All right, so this is tier 3 and tier 4, where we are going to design the bin in Fusion 360, and then we would render the bin in Blender 3D. All right, so what you're seeing currently is the working space of Fusion 360. All right, let me close this tab. All right, so we have a bigger screen. Okay, so basically what we're trying to model is this. We're trying to model this bin. All right, we're trying to make it look like this basically, and we have to go through a series of design processes, and I'm going to take you through all these aspects as well. So going back to Fusion 360, in designing the bin, we start with the base. Let's take this as our reference image. We're going to start with this base, and looking at the base, we have a rectangular part. So we're going to start by drawing a rectangle. Okay, so we go back to Fusion 360, go to create sketch, select where you want to start creating the sketch from, the face you want to start creating the sketch from. And in this, we want our bin to be standing upright. We don't want it to be lying down in like different angles and all those things. So we start by selecting the lower part of it, which is probably, I think, the Y plane. So we select that, then it takes us to the Y plane, and then we can start with our design. All right, so what we can do now is go to create, select the rectangle, go for the center rectangle, select the center, then you can drag it out. All right, now it's asking for the values. The first value, that is I think is it the width or the length? I don't really know, but you see where we have 40 millimeters currently, it was measured to be 25.5 centimeters. That is relatively 255 millimeters. All right, sorry, I shouldn't have gone for the enter. Let me take it back. Okay, so we select the rectangle again, center rectangle, click, open it up, 25. All right, 255 millimeters. Then you click on tab, it takes you to the next part. Then you also input that. Sorry, I think we made a mistake again. This part isn't supposed to be 255, it's supposed to be 165. All right, then we hit on tab, and then we put in 255 for the other side of it. Then you can click enter. All right, so let's scale this down a bit to get the rough figure. So from this part, we click on finish sketch. You can click on the home part, so it brings it back to I don't know, it makes it look like something you can relate from, right? So something you can see or appreciate. All right, so at this point we could simply use the extrude function and then taper the angle, but we don't really have the angle of the bin yet, and it's going to make it look distorted. It's going to be a whole lot of processes. So the best thing to do currently is to offset a plane. All right, so we select the offset plane, we choose the plane we are working on currently, click on that, and then offset it by the total height of the bin, which is 34.7 centimeters, which is relatively 347 millimeters. Enter. All right, so now we have the base, and then we have the top part of the bin. So create sketch, select the top part, then also give it that interface, or like how it's supposed to look like. It also looks like a rectangle, right? So we go for the center, we open it up, and then we give it that dimension. So for this part of it, let's take it at the height. All right, for that part of it, it's going to be 190 tab, and the other part is going to be 280. These are based off actual calculation, actual real life measurements. All right, so enter, click on finish sketch, and then we can use the loft modifier. No, it's at the create tab. Right, so we look for loft, we select the first face, the second face, and it joins them together automatically. All right, so you can click on OK, and then that's it. So as you can see, we have the rough figure of the bin. All right, but we don't have these rounded surfaces. All right, all these rounded parts, we don't have them yet. We'll get to that, but at this particular point in time, let's get to making the hole in the bin. Okay, so most of you will think you just have to redraw something over here and then extrude and it'll be fine, but here's where you'd have it wrong, because this part has a broader surface area as compared to the base. So if you extrude it, it's going to get out of the body over here, right? If you like, you can try it on your own, but I wouldn't because it's going to take a lot of time, right? So we click on the shell modifier, click the face we want to give it a shell, and we input the dimension, which is 2 millimeters, right? You can hit enter. So from this point, we have the inner parts or the hollow part of the bin, okay? And now the next thing to do is to give it the rounded edges like you saw in the other bin. So you click on fillet, click the outer edges, you can turn it and then do same for the back as well. All right, so there's something I want to show you. You think after you finish selecting this, you can just give it the filleted part, right? But it's not going to function because as the outer part gets curved up, the inner part stays in its pointed direction, so it prevents that curve from happening. So you see, it gives you errors, right? So what you can do to solve that problem is also by selecting the inner parts as well. So you select the inner parts of all the 4 corners, right? Here and here as well. All right, good. So now you can give it that fillet you want. All right, we're going to make it 45 since it's relatively closer to a reference image. All right, so 45 degrees, and then you can click enter. So that's what we have now. And one thing you notice is that, I don't know if you can see, but there's an elevation from the floor to the lower part of the bin. All right, so in order to get that elevated part, go back to Fusion 360. You can flip the bin. All right, so we get the base part of the bin. Go to create sketch, select the base, then we use the offset modifier. All right, so with the offset modifier, you click on this part, take it inwards, so we can make it negative, let's say -4. All right, this doesn't look bad. Let me zoom in to see if it's okay. All right, -4 looks okay to me. Click enter. Then we offset that part again by -2 to get that thickness. All right, so you can finish sketch, and we are going to extrude this now. All right, so we'll be using shortcut keys for this, so we get familiarized with the shortcut keys. Okay, so the shortcut key for extrude is E. So you click on E, click the part you want to extrude, and then now you can extrude it by the figure you want to extrude it by, right? So from what I'm seeing currently from the actual bin, it looks like 1.5 centimeters, all right? Let me click here so you can see it well, all right? So it has a little bit of a protrusion at this part, okay? So make sure it's selected to join, or it could be a new body or something, but make sure it's a join. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. And then you click on OK. Then that's what we have over here. All right. So we have this little elevation. It's not filleted. It's just rough like this. It's like chamfered. No, not chamfered. It's just a flat surface. Let's take it like that. All right. So go back to your home. Then now we have to work on this. You see, there's a protruded part over here as well. This is where the top part of the bin sits on. Okay. So we have to design this part as well. So we go back to our bin, go to create sketch, select the face you want to work on, which is this particular part. If you select here, it's going to give you the inner walls of the bin. So select the top part of it, this part. All right. Then now we can start working on that part. All right. So you go for your rectangle. All right, and center rectangle, and then you can start working on that part. Increase it. Should I even be increasing it? I think it would be best if we just extrude, if we just offset it. All right, so you can select the outer part and then offset it by All right, this is going to be wrong because we have two different dimensions for this part. So it's going to be wrong, right? But let's not stick with this. Let's use a different thing. All right, so let's select our rectangle, center rectangle, start from the center, open it up. And for this part of it, where it says 179, we are going to add an extra 1.1 centimeter on both sides plus the original distance we had over there. So the original distance was 19 centimeters. That is 190 millimeters, right? And we are going to have plus an extra 1 centimeter, which is 10 centimeters. So it was 1.1 actually, so making 11 millimeters, right? Plus an extra 11, right? Then we hit tab, do the same thing for the other side. The other side was 280, all right, plus 8 plus 8. Okay, now that should do. Finish sketch, go back to home, and then now we can extrude this part of it. Okay, so shortcut key E, select this part, and then select the inner side as well, this part. All right, and now you can extrude that by 2 meaning 2 millimeters. All right, you click on, make sure it's a join, click OK, and then now this looks messed up. It looks like the kids chocolate, the chocolate that had the biscuits, brown biscuits in it when we were kids and stuff. This is not what we are looking for. What we are aiming to get is a rounded figure, or like rounded edges, right? So you select the fillet again, go for the edges, right? Click the edge, zoom out, zoom in again, click this edge, zoom out, then zoom in again, click this edge as well, and we do that for the last part. Oh, that's not doing, so we have to turn it. Okay, now we click this part as well, and to make everything even, we filleted by 45, just as we did for the lower part of it. 45. All right, good. Now we have the raw figure we're looking for. Now, if you'd notice, this part of it has a little bit of a cut, right? It's part of the design. That's where the top part of the bin locks into. Okay, so we go back to the bin, create sketch, select the face you want to work on, and we can start working on that part. Okay, so for us to get the center, we start by drawing a line. All right, we can just use the center rectangle at this point. It's much easier. All right, to center rectangle, start from the center, don't click, just drag it so it gives you those dotted lines and it shows you the center. So you see the center, how to identify the center is that it gives you an X and a triangle as well, like at the same time. But if it's not a center, it just gives you an X. So if it gets to the center, it gives you the X and the triangle, making you know you are at the center of that particular face. So you click on that, you open it up, and we can give the height to be 4.5, that is 45 millimeters. Tab, and then this part was 2 millimeters for one side, meaning you can make it 4 for both sides, so it affects it evenly. Okay, all right, yes, I think that's it. Good. So with that done, you click on enter, and then you have your part over there. Technically, you're supposed to do the same thing for the other side, but it's going to take a lot of time, so we just select the line, go to the center, draw a line, escape, go for the mirror, select the parts you've already drawn, that is this part, these parts, and it's going to ask you for the mirror line. First of all, click on it, go select your mirror line, and then press OK. Then now you can delete this line you have created, right? So what you notice is that it does the same thing it has over here to the side. All right, so you go to finish sketch, hit extrude, select the parts, the faces you want to extrude, Do the same thing for the other side. Oh no, so we deselect this. Wait, what did we select? All right, let's just cancel everything and then redo it. All right, so extrude. Zoom in a little bit for accuracy. All right, and we do the same thing for the other part as well. All right, select here and select here. All right, now go back home and we can just cut this through. So when it becomes red, it means it's cutting a certain section of the object you have, and then you can see the operation says cut over here. So you click on OK and then it cuts it. So now we have that cut we were looking for or we're aiming to get. So at this point we are done with the base of the bin. We're done with the base of the bin. We can change it. We have to change it from bodies. We have to make it a component. All right, so you right click and then you go to create components from bodies. Right, it gives it a component. It makes it a component. Oh, let me bring this back here. All right, it makes it a component. You can rename this, make it face. All right, and then you can see currently it's grounded. So when it's grounded, you can't move the bin to any direction. Right, so you go here, right click, and then go to unground from parents. Then it ungrounds it. And now you can move the bin anywhere you want to move it to. So let's take it back. Let's take it somewhere else. Now we're going to work on the lid, the top part of it. Go to create sketch, select, we want it to stand upright, so we select the base, right? Select the base. It's going to ask you if you want to capture position or revert position. If you click on revert position, it's going to bring the bin back to the origin, and that's not what we want. We want to start working on a new design from the origin. So you go to capture position, it keep the bin where it is, and then it gives you the chance to start your new project from the origin, right? So we go select rectangle again because we are trying to create this. All right, we're trying to create this part of it. Then we come here. So in creating this part of it, we have to create the base here first before we can do this part. It's going to be very easy, trust me. We're going to finish very soon. All right, so in creating that, it looks like a rectangle. The base part looks like a rectangle. So you go for the center rectangle, go to your origin, click, open it up. Then we have the total height of it to be I am totally lost currently. I have to find the actual. All right, yeah, found it. So that part of it is 21.3 centimeters. That is 213 millimeters. Click on tab, and then the other part is 300 millimeters. All right, so you finish sketch, and then we can extrude this by 3.3. That's 33. All right, okay, good. So now the next thing to do is go back to your reference image, look at it very well. So what we can see is there is a hollow part at the down here at the base. All right, so what we can do first is let's fillet this part of it. Okay, then we draw a different rectangular part and then cut it through. I think that should work, right? Okay, let's fillet it, give it a shell, and then draw a second rectangular part to cut it through so we can get the accurate dimensions for this part and then this part as well. All right, so you go for the fillet, click the edges you want to fillet. And then the fillet should be 45 as the previous one. Then we go for the shell now. Click the base, shell of 2 millimeters. All right, now that we are done, we can create a new sketch and then select the plane we want to work on, and then now start working on the top part of it. All right, so we go select rectangle, center rectangle, start from the center, open it up a bit. All right, and now we can basically give it the same dimensions. That was 21.3, that is 213, right? Tab, no, let's not go to tab first. let's just finish with this one. Between 1.3, that's 213, minus, it had a distance behind it that was 2.5, right? 2.5 centimeters. That is relatively, no, this part was 2.2 centimeters. That's relatively 22 millimeters, but it's going to be for both sides, so we have to increase it by 2 minus an extra 22. All right, then you go to tab and do the same thing for the other side. The other side was 300, but it has an extra of 2.5, that's 25, minus an extra 25. Good. Now you click on enter and finish sketch. All right, and then now we can extrude this. And we're done. Now, as you can see, this is not what we are looking for. This is not what we are aiming to get. We are aiming to get something like this with a rounded edge, all right? But what we have is pointed currently, so we have to make that rounded as well. So you go for a fillet, select the part you want to fillet here, all right? Here, oh, all right, here, okay. Here, and here as well. Okay, so you can also make that 45. 45. All right, and then okay. Now it looks exactly like what we want, right? So the next thing to do now is to create this part, the rounded part, the rounded figure. All right. So what we can do is, we go to, all right. What we can do is we go to create sketch. Create sketch. Select this face. Then we go for the offset 2 or the offset modifier. Increase it by 2 millimeters. All right, let's take it outwards. -2 millimeters. All right, because that's the thickness of the rounded part. So click enter, and now it's acting halfway. All right, it doesn't cover the entire length, it just acts halfway. So what we have to do is divide what we've just done by 2 equal halves, and then we can revolve this part of it. All right, so next thing to do is to divide. So you can just use the line, go to the center, so it gives us the broken lines and it shows us the middle. Then we can cut this into 2 by putting a line over there. All right, do the same thing for this part as well. Go here, join this to this, and we are done. All right, so now we have to trim. Trimming also means cut. All right, we have to cut the unwanted parts we've created currently. So the shortcut key for trim is T. We select this part, we trim it off, trim this part off, trim this part off, trim this part off, and trim this part as well. And now we can finish sketch and then get going. All right, so we go for the revolve, this part. It asks you to select the profile you want to revolve to. Select the profile, select the axis being here, right? And now it's set to 360 degrees, so that's why it's in red, because it's cutting some parts of it, right? Or it's joining together. That's not what we want. We want to make it at 90 degrees, all right? 90 degrees, and that is it. All right, so basically this is what we get for the top part of it. All right, so the next thing to do now is, let me show you. Wait, why is this white? Why is this a plain background? All right, good. So the next thing to do now is to create, let me show you from there. reference image, right? You see from the reference image, we have a rounded, it's like a rounded figure, right? That's what we have to create currently, a rounded figure. Here it's rounded, this part is rounded, this part is also rounded. But if we just get a semicircle and then we cut, it's going to give us this very, very hard design, right? It's wait, but thinking about it, we can just use a semicircle or an arc, a 2-point arc, and then we create that cut, and then we can just fillet this part by making them round. Or we get a circle on both sides, then we use a tangential arc to make this, which is going to be a lot of stress. So I think we should try the new idea, the filleting part, to see if it works. All right. So let's start with that. So we go to create sketch, select the face you want to start working on, which is this face. Then we start this part. All right. So looking at the reference image, this one. Let me try zooming in. All right. Good. All right. When you look here, it says the distance from the base to the top part where the curve starts coming from is 2.5 centimeters. That's relatively 25 millimeters. All right. So that's what we're going to do currently. We're going to create this rounded part by giving it this dimension first. I hope you get what I'm saying. So let's go back to Fusion 360 and start. So shortcut key for line is L. So we start from the end here and then make it 25 millimeters. That is relatively here, right? Click that, and we can do that for the other side as well, I think, right? So going back to this, all right? Good. How do I bring it down? All right, good. So the distance from the end of the bin, all right, to where the arc ends is 2.5 centimeters. All right, 2.5 centimeters. That's relatively 15 millimeters. And then also, this one is not really needed currently. So yeah, I think that is all the information we need. But we have to make sure it's directly at the center, and then it's 15 millimeters away from the end of it. All right. So go back to Fusion 360. Make sure it's directly at the center of it, the center part of it. So let's just draw a rough line. All right. Bring it to the end. Okay, and then start from the center. We should get it all right. Here is the center, and then it's 15 millimeters away, right? So we put it over there. Now we can measure the distance from this part to this part, which is 38.5, all right? And then give it the same thing at the top. So line, select this part, 38.5, all right, which is here. Good. And now we go for our arc, 3-point arc, or say center point arc. Let's try the center point arc. So this point being our center, here being our first part, and oh no, this looks too bad. No. All right, let's try the 3-point arc as well. 3-point arc. All right. So here, and that looks very bad. This doesn't even look like an arc. Oh, I see what we're doing wrong. All right, so we go for the 3-point arc again. Select the first point, the second point, and then where it's supposed to be extended to. Good. Now this looks better. All right. So we go back home, straighten it a little bit. Okay. And now we can extrude this. All right. Select this face, select this face, select this face as well. Extrude it. Let's say cut the other part as well. And yeah. So this is what I was saying we didn't want. We didn't want this this thing. Like, imagine this hits your head currently, you are doomed, you are dead. So that's not what we want. We want it to be a bit rounded, right? So we go for the fillet too. Select this part of it. All right. Select this part as well. Okay. Select the top part. And here. Okay. And then let's take it inwards. Oh, all right, it's almost there. 45. Let's see, 45. Does 45 give this to us? Yes, it does. And it looks sleek. So good. Better than the first design. All right, so 45 and we are done. So basically we have this part of it already done. All we have to do is to add the holes to it. All right, so going back to the reference image again, the hole is a centimeter away from the base. All right, and it's also a centimeter away from this side as well. So we go back to Fusion 360, let it face you. All right, go create a new sketch, select the face you want to work on. Now we select the line command, start from the end, take it a centimeter away, that is 10 millimeters. All right, select another line, start from that side, take it a centimeter upwards, that's also 10 millimeters. And we have this. All right, and unfortunately I don't have the dimension of the hole, which is very, very bad, but I'm taking it currently. I'm taking the dimension right now. All right, so based on my measurements, the dimension is a centimeter. It's a centimeter. All right, the diameter of the circle is a centimeter, so we go for the circle, go for center diameter circle, select the center, open it up by 10. All right, honestly I think this is too big. Let's look at this. No, let's look at the reference image itself. All right, does it look too big or it looks just like it? Well, judging from this side and then the end over here, I think it kind of looks like it, right? It kind of looks like it. So let's enter, go for the extrude, select this part, and then we can just extrude that through. So cut it through. You see it changes to cut. It was a new body at first, and I changed to cut. So okay, and then we have our hole created in that part of it, and that is it. That is all we need currently. So we can also make this a component as well. Body 2, change it. Sorry. All right. Create component from bodies. Make that top. All right. No, top. And that is it. Now you can move this to it so it's joined to that. All right. So now the next thing to do is where are you? All right. Now the next thing to do is to create this part of the bin. All right, so we are going to do the same thing we did over here. All right, we're going to do the same thing over here, but we are going to add an extra thing to it, which is this protrusion and then this part as well. All right, that's what we're going to be doing currently. All right, so for the sake of time, I'm just going to fast forward it. All right, so this is what you are going to end up getting. All right, so the whole thing is that after we modeled the base part of it, after we modeled the base and then we modeled the top part of it, we were left with the lid. All right, but the lid is basically the same design as the top part of it. Okay, all you have to do is make it in the opposite direction. All right, so that would be your assignment. If you're not able to do it, let me know. I'll make a separate video so we can work on that specifically, all right? But for the sake of time, I'd have to fast forward everything, all right? And then when it comes to the sensors, the ultrasonic sensor, the servo motor, and also the Arduino, the microcontroller, this part, there are tools online where um, you can just download the Fusion files of these particular designs or models and then use them directly in your project. All right, so you don't have to model all these things from scratch. If you want to, you are at liberty to, you can do it. It doesn't matter. All right, but if you don't want to go through that hassle, you can just download them and it works just fine. All right, so with this said, I'm going to be taking you through the rendering video or the rendering tutorial with Blender 3D, and we'd call it a day, right? We call it a video. All right, so stay tuned and I'll take you through the rendering process. All right, so with the rendering process, we'd have to export the Fusion file we just created. So you export it and then check the export type, all right? Make sure it's set to OBJ, which is here, OBJ. So Blender is able to, I don't know, understand the design, all right? Let's just take it like that. And then let's change this to YouTube. Oh my God, what am I even typing? All right, good. What did I just do? Did I just hit enter? All right, export complete. All right, good. I thought I did something really messed up. All right, so now we can go to the search and then type Blender 3D. All right, it's already here, Blender. So wait for Blender to load up. And it's loading up in my other screen, so I'd have to transfer it here for you guys to see. I think it's frozen. All right, it takes quite some time to load. If you have a better PC, it's going to have like the shortest time possible. But currently it's running on, I think, 12 gigabytes of RAM. So yeah, it doesn't really run as fast as you'd think it is. So yeah, Blender is very, very light. It's just that when it comes to the rendering process, it requires quite a lot of stuff, all right? So when you open Blender, this is what you see. You can click on any part of the screen, select A or click A, it selects everything, and then you can click X to delete, because we don't need that, all right? You go to Files, go to Import, and you select the OBJ wavefront, all right? Then now we can go to Downloads, and we should have wait, it was YouTube, right? YouTube. All right, so YouTube OBJ, and that should do it. All right, now we have the design over here. Okay, so let's set the cursor to geometry to origin, origin to geometry, origin to geometry, geometry to origin. I think geometry to origin, all right? And take the bin and take it to origin. All right, good. Okay, so now our bin has basically sunk 6 feet underground. So we have to lift it up a little bit, all right? So you click on G, that shows grab. You click on Z for the Z direction, and then you take it upwards, all right? So it sits right on top. Okay, so now the next thing to do is to add textures to this. We don't want to look in like how it is right now, so rough and choppy and everything. So we click on the bin, click on tab, it takes us to the object mode. Currently it's an object mode. We want to go to the edit mode, so we click on tab and it takes us to the edit mode, all right? So we can click this side. Let's choose this, all right? I think it's the face select. Let me get it well. All right, yeah, face select, all right? So you select this face, and then I can go to materials, and you'd see the material it gave it from Fusion 360, all right? from Fusion, it gave it plastic glossy gray. All right, so you can preview this to see how it looks like in the rendered form. And also, always make sure in your render tab you have your rendering set to cycles and not EV. EV works perfectly fine, but cycles, I feel like cycle works better. Just that it requires a lot of RAM, right? It requires a lot of RAM. And then if you have a graphics card, it's way good, so good, right? All right, so currently I think it's running slow because I have two softwares open at the same time. So let me close Fusion 360. All right, save. Save it as U. All right. Okay. Cancel. Come on, just close this. How hard is it to do? Close. All right, so now we wait. Okay, good. So now that we have Fusion 360 closed, Blender should start running quite good, even though it's still slow. I think it'll take some time to really get back on its feet. All right, so yeah, good. We are good to go now. So we can go to the preview part and see how it would look like in the rendered view form. All right, and then this is white. We don't want that. We want it to be a little bit in the grayscale. All right, which is still not what we are looking for. All right, so I think this is better, but the roughness is set to 1. And when we say roughness at 1, it basically means the material you're working with is very, very rough, like the ground rough, right? So you can reduce this to say 0.3, all right, to give it a little bit of a gloss to it. And I'm not seeing any gloss. I'm not seeing any gloss added here. I don't know if the alpha is normally set to 1. Let me add a new material and see if the alpha is normally set to 1. All right, the alpha is normally set to 1, which is quite good, very fine. All right, so let's just go back to our previous material and try using that. All right, so we can increase the metallic part of it to make it look a bit shiny, if that would work. All right, good. So I think that works with it, and we can just assign it. All right, and then now we go to the top part of it, the lid. Now the lid looks very, very blue. This is not what we want. We want something in the darker scale. All right, and it should be somewhere here. All right, give me something. Okay, and the roughness is to, let's just make that 0.3. No, the lid looks a bit brighter, so let's make it 0.2. It looks a bit shinier, and then we can increase the metallic part as well. All right, are we getting something shiny from this? All right, good. So this also looks great. All right, but one thing I've noticed is that the bit is the lane is a bit transparent. All right, so we go to the transmission and then we increase that to say 0.5. All right, let's see how it affects it. Okay, so I'm not really seeing any transparent part of it, but we just work with that and see how it goes. It might probably add up in the video, right? I said in the video, it might probably add up on its rendering. If it doesn't, you can keep tweaking and keep tweaking and keep tweaking until you get the desired rendering part you want, or the desired part you want it to be rendered to. All right, so with the servo, our servo that we're going to be using is black, so we're going to make it look dark, very, very dark, like the night sky. All right, roughness probably around 0.5, 0.4. Let's just make it 0.5. All right, then this looks too black. Let's take it up a little bit. All right, okay, now this looks good. Then now we go to this part, the ultrasonic sensor. Let's give this a bit of a gloss. All right, so okay, white, and then we make it, the roughness should come way lower, not 0, maybe 0.1, and the metallic part should be, let's say, 0.7. 0.7. All right, it still doesn't look like that silver color, so let me give it this, and let's see. Okay, this looks close to the bin. I don't want that. Let's increase the brightness a little bit, and I think this should do. This color. All right, yeah. Do you think this is right? I don't think so. Let's increase the roughness a bit, because looking at the ultrasound sensor, it's not really reflective. It has this kind of a choppy feel to it. All right, yes, this is perfect. This is perfect for the ultrasonic sensor. And then with this part of it, let's try zooming in a bit. I can't really zoom in that much. Let's see if I'm able to get something. The mesh over here. I was hoping we could change the color to, say, black. All right. Okay, I think that's also a different. All right. So let's see if black would work. All right. Let's just make it a darker shade. All right. Let's see. All right. Good. So now you can go back to the tab. It takes us to the object mode. Then now we add our plane. All right. So basically what we are doing right now, let me go to the render view mode. All right. So you see the render view mode, you can't really see anything. All you see is a dark object. All right. So let's try adding some lights to it to try to lighten it up a bit. All right. Grab with G, Z to take it upwards, take it all the way up. And you can scale this, make it bigger. Scale again, make it way bigger. Scale again, a little bit bigger. All right. Then we can increase this to say 10,000. All right. So you see it has highlighted it a bit. But the problem now is the bin is set to be in space. All right. So when the bin is set to be in space, the light rays from the area lamp just hits the bin and then it bounces back. So it bounces back to the atmosphere, we'd say, right? Not really the atmosphere, it bounces back to space. Okay. It's the same thing in space, like real life space. That's what happens. You notice that space is very, very dark. That's because there's no atmosphere in space. There are no clouds, there's nothing. So the light doesn't really, like, it doesn't have something to hit and then bounce back on to spread the light around. So what we can do to mimic the clouds is to add a plane. All right. So we're going to add a plane. Shift A, mesh, plane, add a plane, scale it up a bit, make it very, very big so that it covers the entire surface area. All right. Then we're going to make this plane, give a new material, make it white. All right. So now what you can identify from this is that the light rays hit the plane. You see around the plane is a bit brighter, and the rest of it is dark. So it hits the plane and then it shines light back to the bin. So now it makes the bin more visible for you to see as compared to what we already had previously. All right. Now what we can do is add an extra light. All right. Or just select this. Then we can duplicate it. Shift D, duplicate it on the Y axis. Take it to the side a bit. All right, and let's do it from the top. All right, drag it here. All right, so we take it to the side a bit, and we rotate this along the x-axis, and then make sure the light ray hits the bin. All right, you can twist it to see where it's actually hitting. All right, now you can see it's way above. That's not where you want it to be. You want it to be hitting somewhere here. All right, so you can rotate again, x-axis, and then make sure the light rays hit the bin in the right spot. All right, so I can see it's a bit brighter. All right, so we do the same thing for this side as well. Select this light, Ctrl G, Ctrl D to duplicate it, and then take it on the x-axis. So we come to this side. Now take it to the y-axis, and then come to this side, and then now we can rotate this in any direction we want as well. So rotate this along the y-axis, and then take it to the side so it shines on the bin. All right, good. Okay, now it looks a bit better. Now we can rotate this along the z-axis. Rotate along the z-axis so that it's directed towards the bin. Now this works best. All right, so you see from the video everything looks choppy, like the images are trying to get together constantly. That's because we are trying to render at the same time as we are trying to add in those lights and things we need. All right, that's why it looks very, very choppy. All right, but normally what is best to do is to render not in the render view mode. You can go to the normal object mode, and then you'll be able to work faster over there. Then you just render it in, I'd say, should I say real life or EV, or I don't even know how to describe it, but you just render in the object mode like this, so it makes it faster. Then you can switch to the render view mode to see what you are doing, and then to know if it's actually working well. All right, so now the next thing to do is we duplicate this again, take it to the x-axis. All right, somewhere here. Good. Bring it down on the z-axis. Let's be right behind the bin. All right, then now we can rotate this along the y-axis, and then make it be directly behind the bin. What we're trying to do currently is to give it a feel of a shadow. All right, like a shadow behind it, like there's this light coming from behind it, like this ambience thing. All right, so now what you can do is select the plane again, click tab, and go for the, what's it called, the edge select. Yes, select this edge, extrude it upwards on the z-axis, and now you can select that point, and then you click on Ctrl B for bevel, and then now you can use your scroll wheel, scroll upwards to increase the amount of sections, and you can just click on it. Right, so now it gives it this rounded feel at the back. Then click on tab again, right click, and then go to shade smooth. All right, now it makes the background a bit smoother. All right, now to make the bin a bit lively, you can click the bin, hit R for rotate along the z-axis, and then turn it a bit to the camera. It's like saying say cheese for the picture kind of thing. All right, so we do that, and then now we can take this light again, Ctrl D, take it backwards. That's on the x-axis, right? Take it backwards to where the plane is, rotate it along the z-axis by 180, so the light faces backwards. All right, then now you can change this light and then give it a different color, something that contrasts with it, maybe pink. All right, I think pink should be fine. Then you can increase that, ramp it up. Currently it's at 10,000, right? You can make it like 100,000. All right, and now you can change some of these colors, make it a bit bluish, purple, something. All right, and then you can change this one as well. Also make that, I don't know, close to red, close to red, orange kind of thing, right? Just to give it this feel, all right? Just a feel, not a boring image, all right? So we can also take this same thing, the white light, Control D, no Shift D, duplicate it, X. Everything here is about lightening, all right? It's all about knowing how to lighten your object and make it look like appealing to the eye. This is best for graphic designing and everything. You have to know about lightning, all right? It's what brings your images to life. Now we can bring this part down. So you click on G, click on Z, bring it downwards, and then you can make it face your bin, all right? So grab the rotate, which is R, and then hit the Y, and then make it face the bin, all right? Then on the Z axis, you rotate it again along the Z axis, and then take it to the bin, all right? Then now look for where you want to be looking at the bin from. So let's say you want to be looking at the bin from here or here. Yeah, probably here, maybe. All right. If this is where you want to be looking at the bin from, you can be here, click Shift A, and then go to your camera. Look for camera. All right. Then I can add a new camera. So the camera is added, but it's at the back here. It's very, very small, very tiny. All right, at the back here. Now we can scale this camera up a bit, make it a little bit bigger. Scale it up a bit. Where is it? All right, that's our camera right there. Very, very small. Scale it up a bit, make it bigger. All right, and now we can grab it, take it backwards. All right. When you look through our camera, this is what we're going to be seeing, and that's what we want. So we can take it up a bit, grab Z, take it up a bit. When you look through our camera again, this is what we're getting, and that is not what we want. So now we can hit on the Z. You see our camera is here. We want it to be somewhere here. Grab on the Y plane, and you can take it here. All right. Look through the camera. If that's what you want, you can keep it there. If that's not what you want, you can keep tweaking. So at this point, we can just go to View. We can go to Navigation. We can go to Fly Navigation, so it makes it easier. All right. So now we are going to use our arrow keys. When you click, not really the arrow keys, let's use the WASD keys, like you're playing a game, all right? So D to take it to the left part, all right? So you can see it's going to the left part. If you are content with what you have, you click on the A, all right? If you don't want that, you can click on the D, so you go to get the A bar, all right? Then S to scale it or to zoom it out a bit. And when you get the frame you want, you can hit W to stick it in place, all right? Then you can grab this again with G on the Z axis and then take it a little bit upwards. Oh no, I clicked escape instead of like enter, right? So we do the same thing again. Go for navigation, fly navigation, D to take it to the right side. All right, this is so slow. All right, then A to lock it in place, S to bring it back or to zoom out. All right, and W to lock it in place, S again, and W to lock it in place. All right, then you left click. All right, then now we can click on G, click on Z, take it upwards a bit, take the camera upwards a bit, and there we have it. So now we can render this, click render image, and then see what you get with the rendered image, right? So I'm coming, this didn't work out. Hold on. Let me try bringing it to the screen itself. All right, good. Oh no, this is like an infinity screen thing. All right. Okay. So this is what I'm trying to bring here. Okay. All right. So with the rendered view, you can see we have something like this, and this is way out of what we are trying to get. This is way out of it, right? This is not what we want. Because look at the light over here, it looks very bad. Look at the base over here, it looks so distorted. It's like it's way high. All right, that's not what we want. So we can close this and then work on this. All right, so click on the X, zoom in, and I can see the plane is lifted, is elevated way above or way below the bin. So having your background selected, click on the G, click on Z, and then take it upwards just so it meets the base of the bin. You can zoom in again to make sure it's accurate. All right, I think this is good. Then now we can bring the background close to the bin, right? So G for grab, X to bring on the X plane, then bring it closer so that it doesn't look like it's running from the entire thing. All right. Okay. Grab X. The plane is so big. All right. Okay, I think this is okay. Then now we bring our lights back. G X. All right, bring it back so it's kind of like in the plane. All right. Okay, good. Now we re-render this and see how it works out this time. All right, so you see now this is much better. All right, so this is basically how rendering works. So you keep tweaking, keep working on it constantly until you get something you want. All right. So as you can see right now, what you can notice right now is the pink light at the back and then the white light around, right? Because there's an area light at the top, beaming light at the base, and then also there's a pink light at the base here. So it's like the opacity is quite strong over here, and here is quite weak. That's not what we want. If you want it to be weak, we want everywhere around here to be weak and just somewhere around here to be bright, right? And also we can see the blue and the red we added. That's because the power of the lamp was too low. So what we can do now is we go work on the power of the lamp, right? So made it 10,000, right? We can increase it. We can make it 50,000. You can make here 50,000 as well. All right, and then the light at the back, we can grab it and then take it upwards, and then we can scale it down a bit. All right, let's look through the camera and see if you can still see the lamp, or we can still see it. So scale it up a bit, make it a bit smaller. All right, now let's re-render this and see what we get. Come on, render image. Let me close this. All right, so now render image. I don't know why it keeps opening up in my second screen. All right, so now you can see that with this, it's the opacity over here kind of reduces and then it goes up a little bit, right? And now you can see there's a blue light around here, and there's extra red lights shining on the ultrasonic sensor, right? So that's it for this. All right, we're just going to end here for this video, because if I say I'm going to keep going on, it's going to take a lot of time. All right, because in rendering, if you want the ultrasonic sensor to be prominent, you'd have to add an extra light just for the ultrasonic sensor, showing emphasis on that particular part of it. You get it? So that it's kind of like draws attention. So every part of the bin needs its own special kind of lighting. But if you want me to take you through a tutorial video on how to make the best lights possible, like the previous images I've had, from the thumbnail you saw and all those things. I can gladly take you through that. All right, I can make a separate video for that, and that would be the best option, because currently we can't use this. I'm even talking plainly, it's going to be too much work. All right, so as you can see, it's a bit choppy. You have a little bit of like this scratch around, right? That is because it hasn't fully rendered yet. It has a lot of samples to render. All right, a lot of samples. It has 4,000. It has 4,096 samples to render, and it has only rendered 94 at this point. So as it keeps rendering, it keeps smoothing it out, and everything is going to be fine. All right. So thank you for watching the video, and I'm glad I'm glad you actually stayed this long. See you in the next one. So today's giveaway is sponsored by SkillStacker. SkillStacker is a community that provides individuals with soft skills that earn them income, or soft skills that generate income for them. All right. And then being part of SkillStacker gives you access to mentorship, where you can actually have one-on-one, not one-on-one, I'd say, but you actually have access to the founder of the token itself, or the founder of the community, where you can share ideas and everything. And also, you you can earn through content creation. You can also earn through referrals, and also skill monetization, where you are being um, you are being paid to utilize some skills that you've learned in the community. Skills like meme creation. In the community, they teach you how to make memes with the AI. All right, so you use AI, make memes, and then at the end of the day, you get paid for those things. There are more details into this. I'll tell you personally if you reach out to me some way somehow. Right. And also, there's a leaderboard ranking, where when you produce content in the community, content like educational content, content related to Web3, content that help people build themselves. If you create those contents and then people engage on them, and then you have like massive reach on them in the community, you actually get access to having a share of the pool in like every single month, right? So every month there is money allocated, or like there's an amount of money allocated for content creation in the community. So at the end of the month, the top 3 people, or the top 10 people, which will be in 2026, would be given that particular amount of money. So if it's say $1,000, people who creates memes and are being ranked top 10 would be able to share the would be able to share that same amount of money, right? So yeah, if you made it far in this video, that means you qualify for the giveaway, for today's giveaway. All right, and how we are going to be doing it is that when you watch the previous video, all right, the tier 1 and tier 2 of Jexi, when you watch it carefully, you realize there were letters popping up in the video. What you're supposed to do is take your time, gather all those letters, and then leave that letter as a comment, or that word as a comment in that particular video. So the previous video, you'd get the letters, you'd write them down, right? Every single letter, you get a word, and you leave that word in the comment, right? And you come to this very video, which is also going to have hidden letters in the video, right? You take that letter as well, combine it with the previous one you had. So if the previous one was Jexi, and then the current one is SmartBin, you just take Jexi and SmartBin, and then you put it in the comment section. I'll check the 2 videos. So if you put it in the first video, that's not the combination, right? Not the combination. The first video should have only the letters that were being provided in it, and the second video would have the combination of the first letter, and then, or the first word, and then the current word that is in this video. You take the 2 of them, combine it, and then you put it in the comment section. All right, this is how we are going to be picking the first person to write down or to comment the combination of these 2 letters get access to 10,000 stacker tokens. All right, this is going to give you more than enough to be able to join the stacker community. Then And then and we're going to have 10 people that are going to be selected at random to win the other part of the tokens as well. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.